Utah State on vault right here. This is going to be on the first run right here.
That was Jasmine Estrella. That was a wonderful vault by her. A little bit of step off there, but a wonderful start for the team.
Number 2 up next is going to be Autumn DeHardy for Utah State.
So now
we are actually going to be jumping, it looks, over to bars for San Jose State. And the first person up for San Jose State on the bars, on the beam, on the bars, is going to be Taylor Chan.
ooh, a little bit overshot on that handstand there. You want to make sure that your handstands are 180 degrees, but that also causes some risk all the way up vertical. You don't want to go too far over or too far less that you don't hit that handstand. It's definitely a unique release move. They are required to have so many release moves. Comes her dismount, double tuck to a slight hop, but pretty solid routine, just a little wobbles here and there.
All right, and meanwhile, over on beam, we have Sacramento State going as well. This is Caitlin Wan going up first for Sacramento State.
Now this has also been a very solid routine. She's been very tight on the beam, very consistent, which is exactly what you want your starter on the beam to do. There's a dismount, very nice gainer full off the side. Wonderful start for them.
And actually misspoke, that was Kendra Briata. And Autumn DeHardy for Utah State.
Autumn's a huge vaulter. That was a wonderful vault by her, by that freshman. Definitely expected to see huge vaults from her in the future.
Now we're jumping back over to San Jose State on the uneven bars. Caprice Nadanza.
Now Caprice earned a 9.85 in her last meet, which is a huge score. Definitely hoping to repeat that score, but still there's that improvement for gaining those extra tenths. Always those extra tenths that you can gain in those sticks and in those handstands. And handstands are one of the things that we're going to look for most on bars. You're going to look for those tall handstands in tight form, straight legs, pointed toes, and all those things that the judges are looking for to build that score up.
Right, up on vault next for Utah State is going to be Faith Leary.
Faith is also a freshman for Utah State, but also has some great things, has a great power gymnast, so she's definitely one to look out for on vault and floor. Good Yurchenko full there, just a little slight step out. We're looking for both of those feet to land right at the same time. Perfect landing, but that was pretty close to perfect other than that step. Great showing for her and to prove that her coach.
Over on beam, for Sacramento State, Michelle Chalit is going second.
So back on bars, headed for her dismount. Wonderful double A. Again, that slight hop. The double A is very hard because her body's straight, and so it's going to take a lot more rotation to get around. We're back on beam. Wonderful series, flick lay. Now they are required to complete a 2-part series, and most girls choose to do that flick lay, but sometimes we'll be able to see a 3-part series.
Madison Ward on vault for Utah State completes her vault, sticks to the landing quite nicely.
Very nice. And that Yurchenko full that she just completed, her start value is only at a 9.95. They changed that a few years ago. So unfortunately that is 0.05 tenths off, and all those tenths count, but Coach Smith says that a lot of our girls on our team are capable of those 10.0 start value vaults, but we just want to play it safe for preseason, and as the meets progress, we'll be able to see harder vaults coming up from these girls. We want to make sure that the injuries stay on a minimum and that these girls will be safe so that their bodies will be able to compete all their harder routines in the near future.
We have Stephanie Rolova going onto beam for San Jose, or onto bars for San Jose State. She'll be coming up shortly. And a good start so far, I think, for Utah State. wanted to see them kind of come out, lay some good routines after their first meet, kind of screwing up a little bit in the first rotation.
Absolutely, this is a very good solid rotation for them. That was a gorgeous Yurchenko full. That amplitude was so high. Definitely something the judges are looking for. The height on that vault was huge. Definitely probably capable of more higher vaults. And it looks like a wonderful vault. Just got to work on that stick landing.
That was Michaela Meyer for Utah State. Meanwhile, I believe this is Chelsea Andrada over on beam for Sacramento State.
Such amazing flexibility and control right there. I love watching fun mounts. It just makes their personality shine through on their beam routines. Definitely makes it more fun to watch. It's definitely an interesting skill. It's just a front flip down to the edge of the beam. They are required to go below the beam, so their feet have to go below the beam at some point, whether they do that on their mount or whenever they do it. Again, that full turn as well right there. That can sometimes is usually the hardest skill to stick because it requires you to focus a lot. Michaela Bullitt with a gorgeous vault and an anchor. In that anchor position, usually that's the girl who can really pull through for the team if something goes wrong, but they didn't even need that because all their vaults were so good this rotation.
That will conclude the vaults rotation for Utah State for the match counted scores. And San Jose State and Sacramento State will be finishing up on bars and beam here.
Wonderful side gainer as well off the dismount. Very solid routine. I'm really impressed with all these teams right now. They've been very consistent and very gymnastics is very a mental game, and they very well are controlling their fears and their nerves right now and being able to perform like they're just in their practice gym, which is really nice to see.
And we have Kaylin Wan coming up here on bars for San Jose State. Meanwhile, Annie Juarez will be on beam for Sacramento State.
So it looks like right now on bars, the judges are discussing their scores. Sometimes this can just happen. One judge might see something and the other judge might not see it. So they're just trying to decide what they saw and make sure they saw the same thing so they can give the gymnast a fair score.
So we're seeing just a slight break in the action here, but a real whirlwind of action so far tonight with a 3-team match going on. Action is non-stop, but so far we've seen, I think, all 3 teams kind of live up to the expectations that they've kind of set for themselves so far this season.
Absolutely.
All right, and Caitlin Wan now starting her routine.
Here we go, right on bars, and you saw that she jumped or ducked right underneath that low bar. Wonderful release move. Again, they are required to go transition from the high bar to the low bar, normally back to the high bar. That's usually the transition that they normally make. Wonderful dismount there. Very solid gymnast, very fluid movements. Definitely something that everybody's looking for on bars.
And Annie Juarez over for Sacramento State. A little bit of some balance problems earlier in the routine, but she's recovered. Hasn't had to grab the bar at all, so she's pulling through her routine quite nicely so far.
There's a little break in that connection pass. Probably not enough for a big deduction there, but they do want to see it perfectly connected. Here for a dismount. Wonderful full and a half dismount. Very nice routine.
All right, and the next 2 gymnasts that will be up, Madeline Probst will be on bars for San Jose State, while Caitlin Soliwada will be on beam for Sacramento State.
Both of these teams, you can see some nerves coming in. It's kind of scary. This is definitely for both of Sacramento and San Jose. This is their second or third away meet. So definitely some nerves just being away. You're not comfortable with your equipment. and it's just not your home crowd. Something feels just a little off, but I'm really impressed with the way they're controlling their nerves throughout the meet. Here we go on bars. She's just gonna jump straight up to the high bar, so she's just already up there and able to complete all her skills. Very nice release. Again, we were hoping for that full handstand on that release. We were a little pikey into that handstand, so that will be a deduction there. And she didn't make it all the way around on that giant, so that it was a little bit of fluid off. And then a little slight step there. Not the best routine that you want to see coming from, but she was able to hold on to the bar, which is huge, and able to hold on to that routine, which is very nice.
We have Caitlin Soliwoda going on to beam for Sacramento State.
Soliwoda, actually her twin sister, will be performing next. It's kind of interesting. We have a twin sister over at Utah State and over with San Jose State. Here comes their series pass. Flick way. Got a little bit of balance check there at the very end. That's a very hard series to complete, a 3-part series. As you well,
you guys aren't live.
Next on bars from Utah State, Brittany Johnson. On beam from San Jose State, Chelsea Andrade.
All right, we are back here with the action here in Logan, Utah at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. Again, we apologize for our technical difficulties we are experiencing tonight. We are trying to bring you all of the action here between Utah State, San Jose State, and Sacramento State. We are halfway through the second rotation with Utah State on uneven bars, putting together another strong rotation. Meanwhile, Sacramento State going through their rotations as well, their routines on floor, and San Jose State on the balance beam. Right now we have Chelsea Andrade on the beam for the Spartans.
again, very nice routine on beam. Really impressed with how solid these girls are. Very comfortable up there on the beam. Little balance check there on that aerial, but that won't be too much tense. Depending on the wobble, they can go anywhere from 1 to 3 tenths off. But I would say that wobble will only be like a tenth off. But it really is very subjective sport to the judges. It's all depending on what they're thinking. She goes prepping for that dismount. Round off full half again. That blind landing makes it so hard to land those landings, but that was a wonderful landing. Just a little step there. Very well done.
All right, looking over at uneven bars, it looks like Utah State is where we'll be heading next. And we have Brittany Jepson will be up next for the Aggies.
Now Brittany has been done very well on bars for Utah State. She's a sophomore this year. Huge release moves, as you can see. Definitely a bar swinger and definitely needed for Utah State. Makes a really good asset to her team for bars. She goes for a dismount, double lay. It looked like she just didn't get that rotation around enough and had that fall. That will count as a fall because she did put her hands down. But luckily, Utah State's doing really good on bars right now, so hopefully they'll be able to drop that score.
We'll move over to the floor routine right now, where Jennifer Brenner is moving through her routine for Sacramento State.
Here's their dance elements. They are required to obviously dance in their floor routine. They are judged on it for their personality and artistic sense. From their last tumbling pass, double pike, a little bit of the chest down. You want to see that chest all the way up. A little bit of ballet in there. You don't really see a lot of these upbeat routines. nice double tuck. Again, you saw that chest down. We'd really like to see that chest all the way up. Makes it safer for the girls for their landing. And also makes it just look more presentable. But that was a good routine, very solid, very consistent, which is exactly what these gymnasts are trying to do.
We have on the balance beam for San Jose State, Taylor Chan is just about to be finishing her routine. Meanwhile, Jasmine Estrella is about to go onto the uneven bars for Utah State.
Didn't quite hit that handstand there, but huge releases moves by Jasmine Estrella. Jasmine has also been a very good bar swinger for Utah State recently and last season. Brought out huge scores for Utah State. Last meet she got a 9.8, definitely hoping to just improve that by a few tenths. Wonderful doubling with a little step, but wonderful routine by Jasmine, definitely consistent on bars.
Next on bars for Utah State, Logan Barnador.
Logan Varnador will close out Utah State's routines on the uneven bars. Up next on floor, we have Jackie Sampson will be going for Sacramento State. And then the uneven bars, Stephanie Rilova will be going 5th for the Spartans of San Jose State. And so far, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but Utah State putting together another strong rotation on the bars, which is a really good bounce back from last week.
Absolutely, definitely what they needed for mental and for their attitudes and for just, it gives them a lot more encouragement in practice. She goes with her first tumbling pass. Nice double tuck there. She goes for a second tumbling pass. Front handspring, front full. Normally you don't see front handsprings in collegiate. So that was a wonderful front handspring. Usually they just do a front layout, but wonderful job. Definitely good to have unique routines.
Meanwhile, Logan Varnador over on the uneven bars for Utah State, closing out the Aggies' rotation on bars.
With a wonderful routine and a stick at the landing. Here comes her third tumbling pass. This has been a very solid routine for them. On floor. Fun little illusion there. Show off a little bit of flexibility. Now same on beam, they do have to go down to the floor. Very nice routine.
San Jose State Stephanie Rilova also closed out her routine on beam with a nice landing. So San Jose State and Sacramento State both looking to pile on some good scores from those two routines.
From San Jose State, Madeline Gross.
And Madeline Prost will close out San Jose State's rotation on the balance beam. Meanwhile, Annie Juarez will go 5th for Sacramento State on floor, as Utah State has already closed out their match counted scores for uneven bars. They will just wait for the next rotation.
So I'd like to mention Logan Varnador, who just competed on bars for Utah State. She is a freshman closing out for them in their anchor spot. Now that is a very big deal for a freshman to be the last member, because like I said, they are usually the ones that your go-to person. You always know that they're able to pull out a great routine. So if you have a girl that happens to fall, luckily Utah State can be able to count that your routine, because Jepson did fall and have a little bit of a weaker routine, but Varnador got the second highest score of the meet with a 9.8 on that bar routine. Very nice. I expect very big things from this freshman.
And on beam right now, Madeline Probst for San Jose State going through the routine. A little bit of a balance there, but so far so good.
Very nice series of a front layout step out to a flick lay. Good leap series. San Jose has definitely pulled out some great beam scores. I've been really impressed with how confident they've been on the beam. Oh, a little fall there for them, but luckily their scores have been so high that they will be able to drop this score. Here we're back on floor.
Back on floor, Annie Juarez is going through her routine, has made several passes so far already.
Back on bars with Michaela Bullitt. She didn't compete at all last week. She's going through some injuries, trying to save her body. But she's definitely shown that she's a great competitor this meet, competing on bars.
And this is, I believe, just an exhibition for Utah State, but really nice to see her be able to stick that landing right there.
On bars from Utah State, that was Michaela Bullitt. Next on balance beam from San Jose State, Nikki Duggan. And on floor from Sacramento State, Caitlin.
We have another exhibition for San Jose State on the beam. Meanwhile, Caitlin Soliwoda will be closing out Sacramento State's turn on floor, and then we will be switching rotations following that routine.
So these exhibition routines are just for the gymnasts to get more experience. The more experience they can get out in the competition field with the judges, is so great for these gymnasts, and it really can show your coaches that you're able to be in this lineup, and hopefully next week prove to your coach that you can be in this lineup.
Slight break in the action as judges are, I think, compiling scores. And on balance beam right now for San Jose State, we have their exhibition, as you were alluding to, before we get to the final floor routine for Sacramento State.
Wonderful series, flick lay again. Slight wobble, and just couldn't hold on to it with that fall. But again, it's okay, this is an exhibition. Just gaining that more experience. And hopefully be able to compete in the future.
Meanwhile, Soliwoda on the floor for Sacramento State.
Sorry, a little bit of a familiar music here if you guys know the movie Stick It. Popular gymnastics movie, very fun routine. Get a little bit of sassiness into it. Here she goes with her second tumbling pass. Front handspring, front full and a half. I definitely love the energy that she's bringing to this floor routine. It makes it a lot fun to watch, and just brings a little smile on your face when you watch it. Now each gymnast is required to complete a back tumbling pass and a front tumbling pass. And usually they do 3 just so they can add up their difficulty and get a higher start value for that higher score. Again, huge front tumbling pass, very well done. Annie with the little hornet, very nice.
And that will close out the second rotation for all 3 teams. Utah State on bars. Varna Dors led Utah State with a 9.7, followed by Carrie Peel with a 9.825, Madison Ward with a 9.825 as well. Brittany Jepson with a 9.250, which is dropped. Jasmine Estrella with a 9.725, and Varna Dor as well with a 9.8, as the Aggies will be taking the lead into the third rotations with a 97.650. Sacramento State in second with a 96.575, and San Jose State in third now with a 96.4. We will be going to a quick commercial break as the teams prepare for rotation number 3. State, we are getting underway with the third rotation, as we have San Jose State will be going on to, I believe, the vault. Actually, no, they will be going on to floor, excuse me. Sacramento State will be on vault. And Utah State will be going onto beam here in just a short minute. And so far, Utah State is kind of claiming themselves as the kind of the top spot so far among these three teams, leading almost by by a full point tonight, or full half point over Sacramento State. And is that kind of what we were expecting tonight, you think?
Absolutely, and I talked to the team earlier this week, and their goals for vault were to hit a 48.75, and they hit a 48.775, so definitely above their goal. On bars, they wanted to hit a 48.625, and the girls hit a 48.875, so they already beat their goals, so it's got to feel good on the team to know that they're already ahead and they're working to meet those goals, and they're totally on track for a 195, which was what they were hoping to get this meet. And so if they can just hold it on beam with no falls and be able to be consistent and calm down that adrenaline nerves and be able to perform like they do in practice, I totally think they'll be able to get their 195 that they were hoping for.
Well, yeah, we know Utah State from last season, that floor is one of their strengths. Of course, Madison Ward, of course, you look at her being the anchor of that team. But there were a couple occasions where beam kind of threw the Aggies off a little bit. So they need to, of course, as you said, keep their composure and put together a couple of routines, and then it should be a really good home start, not only to the 2018 season, but also the Amy Smith era in Logan, Utah for Utah State.
Absolutely. I really think Utah State is really doing well for their first home meet. They had a little rough start with their first meet, but first home meet, definitely putting out huge scores. And again, I'm really excited to see Emily Briones back on beam this year. Like we said, she only was able to compete 4 meets last year and then tore her Achilles on a floor routine. So it's nice to see her back warming up on beam over there and see her competing out there. Because I know that was hard for her last year. It's hard to watch your teammates and support them when you're not able to just to be out there.
I know she gave a really emotional Instagram post after the first meet, just of being able to get back onto the beam. I know that was one of her favorite routines, her favorite rotations. Just the amount of rehab, going through a torn Achilles injury and being able to come back and put on the routines that she's going to be doing here in just a couple minutes on the beam. It's really a remarkable story, whether you're a Utah State fan or not, and props to her for being able to get back into athletic shape to be here tonight.
Absolutely. Injuries are such a almost in every gymnast body, almost every gymnast you look at has some tape around their ankles or knees, and so it's really nice to see these gymnasts coming out and defying those injuries and just being stronger than them and being able to push their bodies to new limits is very awesome to see, very inspiring.
I've been through 3 knee surgeries myself, so firsthand, I give props to any athlete that can go through that and then come back and do some of the routines that we've been seeing tonight. We are just about to get underway here with the third rotation here. Again, Utah State leading with a 97.650, San Jose State 96.450, and Sacramento State 97.050. So the Aggies with a decided advantage right now heading into the third rotation.
Which is very nice to have that lead, get a little confidence, and once you have that confidence in you, it's easier to keep it.
All right, and Utah State will be starting on the beam. First up will be Carrie Peel. On the vault for Sacramento State, they will have Courtney Soliwoda leading off for them. But on the beam, Carrie Peel starting for the Aggies.
Carrie Peel also was a huge strength for the Aggies last year on beam, coming back from a lot of injuries. Here she goes for her series. Flick way. Oh, she wasn't able to hold on to that. Looks like her foot was just off balance just by a little bit. But Carrie is definitely one of those gymnasts where she can pull back from a fall and pull back onto the routine, pretend like it never happened, be able to finish her routine strong. Very nice. Carrie is a super senior this year, so she wasn't able to compete one of her years due to injuries. So this is her 5th year doing gymnastics for Utah State. A little bit fun. So she is like the team captain this year. Was able to show the girls, and be there for the girls and help mentor the girls this season. Go for a dismount aerial, right into a full. Wonderful recovery back from that fall.
On floor, another fall for San Jose State as they are being led with Kendall Watts. She fell on one of her passes, but still completing her routine as well.
Next on vault.
It's a little bit of a shaky start for all of our gymnasts on this first rotation. So hopefully they can all pull back from this, and hopefully a lot of these gymnasts will be able to cover up for those falls that we had on the first rotation, and then they'll be able to drop those scores. So again, how the scoring works is 6 gymnasts perform on each event, and then 5 scores are taken, so the lowest score is able to be dropped. Just that's for a little bit of wiggle room for the gymnast. But definitely if you can not have a fall and not count the score, you're able to count higher scores. Here we go for a vault. Your chain full. Again, that chest was down. Not a lot of power off of that vault. You want to see that straight arm so that they're able to block off that vault and get as much power as they can. But still a very solid vault, and just something that you can go back into the gym and work on.
On beam for Utah State, we're going to have Leighton Varnador leading, going second for the Aggies, looking to improve off of Carrie Peel's first routine.
Leighton is just a freshman, but she did compete all around, which is very big for a freshman. Usually you don't see freshmen that well. Oh, a little bit of a wobble there. Usually you don't see freshmen there in an all-around spot. But she's been able to prove to her coach that she's been able to do it. Luckily, she was able to hold on to that series. You saw that leg come up. A little bit of a bounce check there. Full turn. Again, that's going to sometimes be the hardest trick for gymnasts, just because it's sometimes it's just because it's so easy, and it's just being able to balance on the beam there. Wonderful front lay right into that jump. Switch leap to switch leap. Very nice leap pass. Gainer full half off the beam. Again, that blind landing is a very difficult routine, but very well executed.
San Jose State on floor right now. This is Jocelyn Ray.
Wonderful opening pass with a double tuck. Again, you see that mat there. That is allowed as long as they have those tape lines there. They just want to save the athletes' ankles as much as possible and their knees. It's a lot of force landing on it so early in the season. Just want to make sure that everything, keep their athletes as safe as possible. She goes for her second tumbling pass. There's a front tumbling pass to a front full and a half. Again, since they had that fall on their last routine, she's really looking to hit a huge score for Sacramento, so they'll be able to bring their scores up. Wonderful long pass there. We saw that jump at the end. They are allowed to do that. It makes it a little bit easier to stick the landing. When you have so much power, you can just jump right out of it. Great routine by the Spartans.
And over on beam for Utah State, Annie Beck will be going third for the Aggies.
Next on floor from San Jose State, Caitlin Long. On beam from Utah State, Annie Beck. Next on vault from Sacramento State, Alexis Belknap.
Now, Annie Beck is just a freshman, but performed very well last week.
And we will have Alexis Belkoff for Sacramento State on vaults.
That was your Tinko half. Again, that blind landing makes things very difficult, but very well executed.
And Annie Beck on balance beam for Utah State, going through her routine now.
Wonderful three-part series, flick, flick, lay. Little bounce check, but still they're able to, they've had a little bit of a rough start on beam, so they want to come back really strong and hit routines. A little bit of a different way to turn on the beam. Very nice. I love how beam and floor, you can add creativity and really see the gymnast's personality. Wonderful aerial, nice and solid. Definitely bringing up the team morale for this routine. Bringing up their attitude, very well done. Here she preps for her dismount. Front full tuck, very nice, exactly what the Aggies needed, well done.
After two little underwhelming routines on the bar, a couple falls and bounce checks, good way to get the Aggies rolling there. On floor, Chelsea Andrada for San Jose State is going third, and here's one of her passes.
Just a punch full and a half. That requires a lot of power in those legs, lots of twist. Usually you'll see a gymnast is either a twister or a flipper. So normally they'll do lots of double tucks or lots of twists in their routines. Tend to be one or the other. Definitely a really good twister for the Spartans. Here she's prepping for her second tumbling pass. Again, very nice to see that hop out of there. Very proud of that, big smile on her face after that pass. Great routine done by the Spartans, another routine that they'll be able to count towards their overall score.
Right. And Sacramento State will be finished out with Annie Juarez on vault. Utah State has Taylor Dittmar here on the beam.
Now this mount requires so much strength right there. You saw that, how she pushed that all the way up to handstand. That requires stomach and arms, and very, very difficult mount. They'll add her a few more bonus points onto her routine. That was a one-handed backhand spring lay. Also, again, very difficult because you don't have both hands to push off of to give you power. Definitely a gymnast that we need to look out for on beam in the coming future. This very determined look on her face. She is going to do well with this routine. Very solid. And Dittmar is just a freshman, so we'll be able to see all that she can do in the next coming years. I was a little worried on that dismount there. It looked like on her second back handspring, her hands were a little off, but she was totally able to recover that. She's definitely been in the gym practicing that, able to finish that off. Very well done. You can see she was a little off on that tumbling pass, had that slight step to the side, but totally able to recover it.
And this is Caitlin Wan on floor for San Jose State.
Caitlin has had a good routine so far. Coming strong into another tumbling pass. Front tumbling pass with a front handspring full and a half. And again, on floor, the sticks are a little bit different. They are allowed to take a step out of it as long as it is controlled, so they don't have to land totally with 2 feet. But it definitely is nice when they're able to land with 2 feet. Definitely shows more control in the routine. Very nice 4-part tumbling pass there. Very well done. Great routine for the Spartans.
And on balance beam for Utah State, Autumn DeHardy will be going 5th. Up next for San Jose State on floor will be Ellie Pasco-Long.
Now Autumn got a 9.875 last week. Huge score, hoping to repeat that, maybe add a few more tenths. Now that was supposed to be a connection there, so she was supposed to add another skill onto it, so she's gonna have to find another place in her routine to add another connection. But it looks like she's totally able to do that with a back handspring flick lay that was totally solid. Very well done. Very nice split straddle. Comes that full turn. Very solid. You can tell that Autumn has had a lot of experience up on that beam. Seems very comfortable up on the beam and just ready to take any challenges. Slight wobble there, but again, she landed on that beam sideways, so it's a little bit harder to grasp the beam because you don't really have your toes on there to grasp it. But very well done by Autumn. Coming in for the dismount now. Ground off double full, very nice, very hard routine, very well done.
And Ellie Pasco-Long on floor for San Jose State. She is their 5th gymnast going in this rotation.
See that knee brace on her, so she has some mats on the floor to help her with her landings, just so she can save that knee. We will hopefully compete more in this next season. Huge front tumbling pass there. Very nice jump pass. She has a lot of spring in her legs, a lot of what we call quick twitch muscles, so she's able to jump off of those muscles very fast. Huge double tuck out of there. Very nice with the height and the amplitude. Definitely something the judges are looking for.
All right, and over on beam, Utah State is having their rotation closed out with Emily Briones. Again, returning from injury, a torn Achilles tendon last season.
And that front layout was so nice, front layout step out. Very solid up on beam. Tell she's definitely glad to be back home competing on beam for her team. Wonderful series, no wobbles at all. This is going to be a huge routine for Utah State and huge routine for Emily. Again, switch. Wonderful leap pass. She's really looking very confident up there. Here's her dismount. Full right out the beam, a little bit of a hop, but wonderful routine. She should be so proud of herself for that.
A feel-good moment of the night, returning from injury and pulling off a routine like that. We go now to the floor. San Jose State, Taylor Chan is finishing out the routines for the Spartans.
A little bit of a Bruno Mars routine here. Now some of the gymnasts do get to pick their own music, but it's ultimately up to the coaches on what they decide, but it does reflect the gymnast personality pretty close. Huge tumbling pass there. Little slow point in her music to catch her breath a little bit. Such a fast-paced routine. She's doing so well. Definitely a performer for the Spartans. She goes with her second tumbling pass. Wonderful pass out of that. Back on Madison Ward for beam. Had a fall in that series. That was a flick way. It looked like she just had a little bit too much power there and just underestimated it. So they will have to count a fall on beam. Definitely not what they wanted, but hopefully they'll be able to pull through on floor.
And San Jose State's Taylor Chan also finishes up, and I also believe that Madison Ward is actually just an exhibition tonight on the balance beam for Utah State, but still are going to have to close out on floor to take this meet home.
That's good. Yeah, I was mistaken. The word is an exhibition. So just gaining that. That was a huge hard dismount. A double tuck off the beam.
And Utah State was able to close out the beam on a really good streak after the first two routines were a little bit shakier, a little bit lower scores, closed out well. San Jose State with a number of good routines on floor, and Sacramento State pulling together a decent rotation as well on vaults. So now Utah State leading 146.425. San Jose State in second currently with 145.425, and Sacramento State in fourth at 145.4 as we will head into the fourth rotation. What have you seen so far from each of these teams tonight that's really impressed you?
Right on vault there for Sacramento State. They had a little bit of a hard time capturing all their vaults. Definitely a little bit of struggle for them on vault, but just something that they can go back and look for and practice. Utah State on beam. Again, we saw those a little bit of a uncharacteristic fall for Carrie Peel, but hopefully they'll be able to come back with their greatest event on floor and be able to really perform. And I'm expecting to see a lot of big things on floor with them. And I'm interested to see the new freshmen on floor and able to see their power and what they're able to do.
All right, we will return after this quick commercial break as the teams will get ready for rotation 4, the final rotation here in Logan, Utah at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. Smith Spectrum, we are here finishing up with rotation 4 here in a minute of Utah State Gymnastics versus San Jose State and Sacramento State. Utah State currently leading by a full point over San Jose State as Utah State has registered a 146.425. Coming in tonight, you said that 195 was kind of the goal for a lot of these teams, especially Utah State after last week, and right now they're in pretty good position to really capture that goal.
Absolutely, and even if this team does what they did last week on floor, they'll be able to hit their 195. Definitely confident on our floor team for Utah State. We have some powerful tumblers out there, including Madison Ward, who we've named floor specialist so many times last season. So definitely hoping big things from her this season from floor.
And Madison Ward would going 5th for Utah State on floor. Meanwhile, San Jose State will be finishing out on vaults, looking to piece together some good scores there, while Sacramento State will be finishing out their routines on bars. And again, Utah State currently leading 146.425 to San Jose State's 145.425, and Sacramento State currently in 3rd place with a 145.4 as we begin the 4th rotation.
You know, 4th rotation is a little bit more difficult. It's when the gymnasts are a little bit more tired. They've gone through all these events. So it's definitely a endurance test for all these gymnasts. But closing out on floor, this is what Utah State is strongest in. So I really think that they'll be able to pull through a really strong score and be able to get that 195 that they were hoping for this season.
Jocelyn Ray has given her first vaults for San Jose State. On floor for Utah State, Michaela Meyer will be the lead.
Again, Michaela Meyer has those huge vaults, very powerful gymnast, so I'm expecting to see a lot of huge tumbling passes from her. Opening with her first tumbling pass with a double tuck, straight to that stick, very well done. We go first right into that second tumbling pass, front tumbling pass with a front full to a front pike. Very well done. Now right in front of me, I have the Utah State Gymnastics team cheering her on here. It's definitely nice to have the support of your teammates all around you cheering you on.
Yeah, a little different from each of the other two teams as the other gymnasts basically surrounding the floor during her routine.
Michaela Meyer, freshman, pulling out a great routine so far. So she goes for a 3rd and last tumbling pass. Wonderful front tumbling pass. Knees are a little bit bent on the end of that landing there, but very well done. Very solid routine to start off with.
Next on ball from San Jose State, Caitlin Wong. On bars from Sac State.
Caitlin Wan will be up next on uneven bars for San Jose State, or on vault, excuse me, for San Jose State. Sacramento State will have Annie Juarez up on the uneven bars, while Leighton Varnador will be on floor for Utah State. But we go to the vault for San Jose State with Caitlin Wan here right now.
Wonderful, your tinkle full. You see that step out there, but very well done. Very powerful gymnast.
Uneven bars for Sacramento State, Annie Juarez.
Looks like we just had a fall for her. A little bit of a rough start. Hopefully she'll be able to come back really strong from this event. Very difficult twisting dismount right there. Definitely a unique dismount you don't normally see in collegiate gymnastics. Very well done. Slight step out.
On vault for San Jose State, it's going to be Caprice Nadonza. Leighton Varnador for Utah State will be going second with her routine.
Again, Leighton is competing the all-around tonight as a freshman. Very huge opportunity for a freshman. Usually you don't see them in the all-around lineup until their sophomore or junior or senior year. Getting ready for her first tumbling pass. Huge double tuck there, a little bit low in amplitude, but very nicely well done. Right into her next tumbling pass. Gonna double pike. Saw that chest down a little bit. We'd really hope that the chest is all the way up on that pass, but again, very well done. There's that jump in leap pass that is required, just like on beam. See assistant coach back there, cheering on Leighton. Getting ready for a third and final tumbling pass here. Wonderful front element tumbling pass. Finish out the routine. That was a nice fast-paced routine, just get out there and get it done, and that's exactly what she did for her team.
All right, we can jump over to the uneven bars right now with Sacramento State. I believe this is Jackie Sampson for Sacramento State.
Jackie just finished off with a front layout to a double front. Very nice routine. Had huge connection moves in there. They were very fluid. Good score on bars that they're going to need after those two falls.
Excuse me, that was actually Jordan Brent, it appears, on the uneven bars. Caitlin Solowata will go up next for Sacramento State on the uneven bars, while Faith Leary will be on floor for Utah State up next.
Looks like we're headed over to vault right now.
And this looks to be Taylor Chan going for San Jose State.
Now in vault, you really want a powerful run to be able to get that power that you need to be able to throw your body over that vault. Huge amplitude there. Looks like she had a little bit too much power, didn't know how to control it, but very well nice. I bet she's capable of a lot more, and hopefully we'll be able to see more from her this season.
And that will conclude the rotation for San Jose State. We go now to floor with Utah State, and this is Faith Leary.
Huge tumbling pass to start out with a front tumbling pass. Team very proud of that. Again, you can see the team there super cheering them on. Get a little feedback from your team. Very nice leap pass. as she's heading into the corner for her next tumbling pass. Slowing the music down a little bit, got to get a little bit of energy. Very nice double tuck. Very impressed with this freshman, Faith. Definitely looking forward to seeing what she comes up with in the next 4 years for the Aggies.
As we mentioned at the beginning of our broadcast, Utah State, a very young team with a plethora of freshmen and sophomores across the roster. So really good opportunity for Amy Wilson to coach up this team and really lead this Utah State program into new heights.
Absolutely. Amy Smith has majority of freshmen and sophomores, so she's really able to help them learn how to do the collegiate gymnastics. It's so different from club level gymnastics, and she's been helping them with also academics. Their academic goal was to get a 3.2 GPA last semester. They earned a 3.27 GPA, so definitely Utah State is improving in and outside of the gym, and it's nice to see that Coach Smith is coming in and helping her teammates in every aspect of the college life.
All right, and we are halfway through the floor routines for Utah State. Up next will be Autumn DeHardy for the Aggies. I believe that is another underclassman going for Utah State, so 3 straight for the Aggies just shows how much youth is on this team.
Absolutely, and usually normally in collegiate gymnastics, you use a freshman as sort of your backup sometimes, just get in their exhibition to give them a lot of experience so they can go into their upper class work as juniors and seniors and really be stars for the team. But since this is such a young team, they use all the talent available that they got to them.
And we have Soli Woda for Sacramento State on the uneven bars right now. And then we go to floor for Utah State with Autumn DeHardy.
Autumn is another power-filled gymnast. She's competed vault and beam for the Aggies and done this very well. She goes with her first tumbling pass. Double pike, huge amplitude on that, and very nice chest up on the landing. Very well done. Again, getting ready right for that second tumbling pass. Front element. That was a Rudy, so that was a 1.5 with a layout step out. Just adds a little bit of bonus in there and then makes it easier to land because she's able to do a step out landing. On floor, the gymnasts are judged a little bit for their dance, for their artistic elements. And you can always get a little bit, hopefully a little smile out of the judge when you smile, give them a little personality, hopefully persuade them to give you a little bit of a higher score. Here comes her third pass. Wonderful front tumbling pass. Very nice routine by Autumn. The Aggies are definitely on track for that 195, bringing out those huge scores.
Right now we have, I believe, an exhibition for Sacramento State on the uneven bars going now.
She's having a little bit of fluidity break moments. So we want to make sure that the routine is all connected, looks very fluid, like a very long, nice paper. There's a little bit of chops in there, but very nice, well done. Definitely proved to her coach that she's able to handle the lineup.
And Utah State's had an impressive rotation on floor, but now it's their go-to floor routine person. It is Madison Ward. I believe holds or is tied for the school record for floor titles. So we know what she's capable of. We'll see if she can put together another near perfect routine tonight.
Absolutely. We put a lot of pressure on Madison Ward, but she's able to deliver week after week and is able to pull out these huge routines. And watch out for this first tumbling pass. Definitely one of her hardest passes. So it's a double tuck with a full in the first flip, so it's full in. Very difficult. Flipping and twisting all in one. All ready for her next pass. Round off Rudy to a front lay. Last week she received a 9.875, huge score. Definitely capable of pulling out these scores week after week. Huge consistency and a good asset for the Aggies on floor. Madison is also just a fun gymnast to watch on floor. You can tell that she loves it and loves to perform floor. Ready for her last tumbling pass. Huge double pike. Almost got a little bit too much power out of that. It looks like she was able to hold on to it though, as the floor vet that she is.
So another impressive routine for Utah State, which should put together 5 really good floor scores to be able to counter their routine. But still, with Ellie Golson to go, they could even improve upon that total as well.
And again, Ellie Golson, we talk a lot about Madison Ward, but Ellie Golson, she's definitely a huge competitor out there on floor. She's a very powerful gymnast, has a lot of those quick twitch muscles. Definitely can activate her muscles a lot quicker and able to pull out those hard tumbling passes. Last year she did complete a double lay on floor, tumbling pass. Very difficult, very hard to get your body to go around 2 times in a straight position. Hopefully looking forward to seeing that tonight. She does have some injuries that Coach Smith is a little worried about, so they're trying to keep her as healthy as possible so that she'll be able to compete more for the season and help the Aggies out. Starting off very fierce. And there we see that double lay there. Huge opener in that tumbling pass. Very fierce. You can see the determination on her face. She is going to work this routine. Wonderful front tumbling pass, front lay, front half. A little bit fun dance elements there. Now every gymnast in their routine on USU has a little time where the girls are able to chant USU in their routine, so you'll see 3 beats sometimes, so they're able to cheer them on. Just a little bit of an extra motivation, especially for a away meet, something that they can cheer when they don't have their home crowd. Here we go for our last tumbling pass. Wonderful front tumbling pass to a front full, front full. Very well done. Way to round it out for the Aggies.
Excellent rotation to close off the night for Utah State. I don't think that's going to be really below a 9.7, so 6 really good scores for Utah State that they're going to be able to choose the best from.
This was definitely a good rotation for all the teams. Sacramento had a little bit of a struggle on bars with their first 2 girls, receiving their 2 first scores lower than a 9.0. But Sacramento State, or San Jose, definitely had a huge vault scores that they did very well on, and so did floor. Definitely a good way to end out the meet for all the teams.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good things that each team can really pull from this match. Sacramento State, of course, they had one meet this season where they went for a 192, and this one obviously high above that mark. San Jose State not reaching their potential, but still had some really good routines, some really good rotations tonight. And Utah State, honestly, 4 really solid rotations. Not much more you can expect from the team.
Absolutely, and Utah State has definitely, they improved on every single event. Their all-arounds for each event was definitely higher, so definitely the improvement that they were looking for.
All right, we'll be handing out the titles and crowning champions in just a moment. We'll be going to a quick commercial break. Before we do that, here at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. Glenn Smith Spectrum, as we are just preparing for the trophy ceremonies here for tonight's meet between Utah State, San Jose State, and Sacramento State. Utah State has taken the #1 spot with a score of 195.450, followed by San Jose State with a 194.275, and Sacramento State with a 193.275. But really some good takeaways for each of these teams tonight. Really some points that they each can build off of. But Utah State, of course, taking a 195, hitting that goal which they set this week in practice, as you were mentioning earlier. And really, there's going to be a couple spots to work on, but all in all, a really solid night from the Aggies. Absolutely.
I'm really impressed with all these teams. USU jumped a whole 3 points from last meet. Huge improvement. So did Sacramento. They improved by 2 whole points. Huge scores coming out. Definitely what coaches want to see, what the gymnasts want to see is this improvement. Definitely we're seeing great things.
Yeah, we'll be getting here to the individual events and the all-around champion as well for tonight, as they will be announced here shortly. But is there really anything that Utah State can improve on that you saw that you think that they'll be kind of pointing at within practices? This is the area where we can get a couple more tenths of a point.
Absolutely. There's always those times that you are able to get a little bit more tenths, a little bit more work here and there. They did have a few falls on beams, so hopefully they'll be able to come back and work on those beam scores with those falls that Carrie Peel and Leighton had. But nothing too dramatic. Just hopefully just keep building that confidence, keep getting those skills, and keep drilling kill, and be able to perform these skills day in and day out. Then they'll be able to be consistent. I feel like they'll be able to get to regionals and hopefully perform well at regionals.
All right, and we're getting close now to the event winners, the all-around winners. Also, gymnast of the meet. There's a couple people that we may single out as that. Who do you think should be awarded the gymnast of the meet tonight?
Oh man, I mean, definitely for Utah State. Leighton Barnard did really good as she did the all-around here.
And from Utah State, Michaela Meyer.
Michaela Meyer just won for Utah State. Huge scorer.
On vault with a score of 9.825 from San Jose State, Ellie Pasco-Long.
Ellie Pasco-Long with a score of 9.825 takes home an award.
On vault, again, huge vault scores. That's really big for vault, considering that vaults have gotten a lot tougher in judging.
With a score of 9.825 from Sacramento State, Jackie Sampson.
Jackie Sampson from Sacramento State tying for first place.
From Utah State, Madison Ward.
She ties with Madison Ward of Utah State on uneven bars, so the two will split the event champion.
9.825, also from Utah State, Carrie Peel.
And Carrie Peel also joins them on top of the podium, so 3 separate gymnasts with scores of 9.825 on the uneven bars.
Very nice scores on bars. Very well deserved that win.
Tied for third with a score of 9.825 from Utah State, Emily Briones.
Emily Briones tied for third on the balance beam, a really remarkable return from injury last season.
From Utah State, Taylor Dittmar.
She ties with Taylor Dittmar, the freshman, so both of those really great stories. Being able to put those numbers up on balance beam.
San Jose State, Caitlin Wong.
Caitlin Wong will take second place on the beam event from San Jose State.
On balance beam with a score of 9.875 from San Jose State, Stephanie Relova.
And Stephanie Relova of San Jose State will take home the event title for balance beam tonight.
On floor exercise.
We'll be moving on to
Tied
floor.
for first place with a score of 9.85 from San Jose State, Ellie Pasco-Long.
Ellie Pasco-Long ties for first place with a 9.85 on floor.
Also with a score of 9.85 from Utah State, Autumn DeHardy.
She's joined by Autumn DeHardy, freshman from Utah State, who also ties for first.
Utah State with a score of 9.85, Faith Leary.
And she's also joined by another freshman, Faith Leary of Utah State. So Faith Leary, Autumn DeHardy, and Kelly Pasco-Long take home the event titles on
Now for the all-around
floor.
results. Third place with a score of 38.7 from San Jose State, Taylor Chan.
And Taylor Chan will place third in the all-around from San Jose State.
In second place with a score of 38.975 from Sacramento State, Caitlin Salawada.
Caitlin Solowata from Sacramento State takes second place in
And
the all-around.
first place in the all-around with a score of 39.075 from San Jose State, Caitlin Wong.
And Caitlin Wan of San Jose State will take home the all-around title tonight. And 39.075 is the all-around winner total.
Sponsor of Aggie Gymnastics, we would like to announce tonight's winner of the Pepsi Rockstar of the Meet Award. Congratulations, Michaela Meyer.
And Michaela Meyer takes home the Gymnast of the Week event.
Utah State thanks Pepsi of Logan for their support of Aggie Gymnastics.
Very fun reward and well-deserved award for Michaela Meyer.
Sacramento State added a score of 47.875 in the final rotation, giving them a final score of 193.275.
And 193.275 for Sacramento State is their official final score
San Jose
for
State
third place.
added a score of 48.85 to give them a final score of 194.275.
And San Jose State gets a 194.275, which places them in second place. And Utah State taking first again tonight in this three-team meet.
To give them a final score of 195.450.
195.450. Of course, topping the goal of 195 that they set in practice this week. So accomplishing most of the goals that they set forth, and just a really good really good home opener for Utah State women's gymnastics for the 2018 season.
Definitely, Utah State crushed all their goals, all their hopes for this meet. Now they can go back into the gym, make new goals, and hopefully be able to get those intents up and hopefully be able to get a 195 or higher, or get like a 196.
Utah State has a couple places where they can take some more points. Madison Ward, as you may have noticed, a 9.7 on floor, which is short of her usual status. And Utah State also being shut off of the all-around podium, which they will definitely be looking to correct in the next match. But all in all, 195.45, you're not going to find a single Aggie that's going to be upset with that score tonight, right?
Absolutely. I feel like all these teams should be really, really proud of themselves. They've all accomplished a lot of their goals that they were looking forward to. Hitting that 195, they've all improved on their scores, and definitely a huge breakthrough for the Aggies and for Coach Smith as she gets her team prepped for Mountain West Gymnastic Conference Championships.
All right, and again, each team really being able to just come forth, put forth a good effort. We saw Utah State, of course, put together a really good uneven bar routine after a couple falls last week at Bowling Green really kind of hurt them. What were some other highlights from these teams that you saw tonight that you think each team really could be really proud of?
I definitely thought Sacramento State on bars, they had a huge score on bars, and they came back from those two falls very well. I was very impressed with how their team and how their morale and how they came up. With Utah State, very impressed with their overall floor score of a 49.025. Personally, I felt the judges were a little bit picky on floor, but they were very consistent throughout. So floor score of 49 is huge and definitely helped lead them to that final score of 195. For San Jose State, they're a very consistent team. Scored very well to what they compared to last week. Again, with very high all-around scores of that 48 range. Definitely what you want to see in preseason. as we're just getting started in gymnastics. They're all where they should be and exceeding expectations for all three of these teams. And I'm sure that they're just going to continue to prove, get into the gym, and work on these routines and be able to hit regionals.
All right, and that will conclude our broadcast tonight of Utah State Gymnastics. Utah State will next be at Denver next Saturday as part of a 2-team meet before returning home in February to play Boise State, which will be, of course, a huge match welcoming the Broncos here to Logan, Utah. This has been a Utah State Athletics production. I am Daniel Hansen, again joined here
with Courtney McGill.
And it has been our pleasure to bring you tonight's meet between Utah State, San Jose State, and Sacramento